what you want.
Welcome back, everybody. No means
you
nobodies.
getting what
No means
you
no
need.
things. No means no necks.
Why
No
haven't
means
we said
neckbeards.
nobody's nobodies? That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I came up with that today on my walk, and I'm like, I think that's it. I think it's no means nobodies, right?
But I don't. What's no means no nicks? I don't
like
know
if
what
you have
that
no
is.
neck.
Oh, no
necks.
neck. I
No
thought you
necks,
meant
yeah.
nicks, like a nick
No,
on your
no. Well, it could be.
finger.
Yeah.
It's
Nick.
my bad California pronunciation. Anyway, welcome to the No Means No Thing podcast, the podcast where three absolute idiots, as you can see from our intro, do our very, very best to find the very, very best No Means No song of all time. Spoilers, there isn't one. I'm one of your hosts, Jordan.
I'm Matthew. Hello.
And I'm Michelle.
So
Your favorite.
we've got a good one for you today, folks. I hope. I mean, who the fuck knows? We'll see when it's done how we feel about it. But the songs are good, I think. It's going to be a hard one. I ain't looking forward to none of these votes.
Nope.
But I'm looking forward to diving in and hearing what you guys.
Visceral versus the cerebral.
Yes. All right, but before we do that, you all know it, you all love it. I do too, because now I can actually sip this fucking drink that's been sitting here unsipped. I'm going to dive into my whiskey,
Oh.
and we're going to turn to Michelle. What you got today in your different house that has a different background?
I'm in a different house today. It's kind of flipping me out. I feel
Yeah.
a little discombobulated.
Yep.
I'm pet sitting my friend's dog while they are in New Zealand, and they got a princess pie named Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
So me and Charlie are hanging out for a couple of weeks. And I have tonight a couple of Guinness Zero. I'm going to have some non-alcoholic Guinness. And thankfully, these guys make it almost exactly like the real thing. There's two little problems I have with it. It's a little thinner, if that means anything.
Yep.
And there's a little bit of a sweet tartness that just...
Which is
I don't know
probably
what it is.
normally there in normal Guinness, but it's counterbalanced by the astringency and bitterness
yeah,
of the alcohol.
I don't
Could
know
be.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in
Because
any
it's fucking
case,
malty as fuck. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's great. But the other thing they do right is this. Did you hear the widget go off? There's a fucking widget in there.
cool.
Oh, baby.
And this
Don't
is
need the
also,
booze for no widget.
This is also a good sound too. That's this. It's
Telling
very
you.
similar to the real thing.
That could just really be the entire podcast is just pouring beer. We'd
Well,
have a different.
If
a
John
different
was
set,
on it,
but-
it would be.
Yeah. All right, Matthew.
Well, yeah,
do
being
you got?
that I'm still dry.
Yeah.
Not drinking the booze. So I decided, since it is September now, and it is
Do you
starting to.
remember?
It's still pretty warm, but starting to cool off. And like, put the air
It is.
conditioner away. Hooray! And yeah, being that it's moving into colder weather, I decided to join Michelle and get a stout. It is
I
by-
thought you had a Guinness.
No. It's a stout though. It's from Athletic Brewing Company, which I think is like in Connecticut or something.
I know what that is.
And it's all out stout.
Yep, I've had
Oh,
that
nice.
before.
Alcohol is stout. Well, it's 0.5%. So a little bit of alcohol
Little bit.
in here.
Teeny.
So here, let's see how this goes.
Nice.
That does taste good, but I had a problem with what I smelled when I drank it. I think I've had it before on here. It smells like cereal.
Huh.
Well, it is cereal.
I know. It's got barley and hops, and I don't know, but I sniffed it before I drank some, and it was like
It's doing a pretty good
this-
cascade right now.
no,
Wow.
it really tastes quite good. But I should try it again though. But
Isn't
when I
that
first
interesting
had
though?
it, it was-
I can picture things too that I really enjoy the taste of them, but they've got such an interesting scent that it just
Yeah.
colors the whole experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
I've had that.
But that tastes good. That company makes some really good
Ooh, it
NA
looks
beers.
good. It's got
Yeah.
quite a head on that sucker.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not fucking around.
Nice.
Yeah, I
So,
think they're in New York
okay.
State or Connecticut or somewhere in that general region.
No,
so-
that's all they do. That's all they make is non-alcoholic
Nice.
beers. That's good.
Hey, you guys out there, what are you drinking? What do you got? Hold it up. Oh, yeah, nice. This is me pretending that I can see what you're drinking.
What do you want, a kid
Listen,
show?
listen. Though I'll make it a little parasocial for a minute. So I just a little while ago, I went down to a couple weeks ago, I guess, went to not a couple weeks ago. Went to a show with my daughter's teacher. Right, cool
Oh,
guy.
yeah, you did.
Went to see Zoran. It was fucking great.
Yep.
And I was hoping to kind of bathe him in the baptismal pool of No Means No on the way down. So I put it on. I put on 0 plus. I decided, I'm just gonna play 0 plus 2. I'm just gonna play that album.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I asked him. I said, because he, we were talking about other stuff. He'd just seen the Melvins in town, and I missed them. And we, clearly this guy's like in the same realm as me.
Right,
This Bungle is fucking. I'm like, okay, maybe he just never. And so I started to play him. I'm like, hey, do you know these guys? He's like, yeah, I know them. And I was just like, my heart just cracked into.
He did a meh.
He did a, yeah, I know him. And I was like, oh no, oh no. So this is where I get parasocial.
So did you kill him?
I want to thank you, the person that's hearing this right now. Like seriously, you as an individual person with the headphones on or playing it wherever on the toilet, for being somebody who loves this band enough to listen to this podcast, because there's really something special about all of us that have found the fucking magic in this band. Because I'll tell you what, it's there, and it's okay when people don't get it, but holy shit, it's like when people get it, they get it. And I'm so grateful that a bunch of you fucking nerds have found this podcast and love it as much as we do, and give us an excuse and the motivation to come on and just keep fucking talking about this band, right? Which is a bizarre enterprise, but thank God there's enough of you out there. So to you in particular, yes, you, not Chuck, everybody else, thank you
Poor Chuck.
for listening. He knows we love him. Thank you for listening to this podcast, man. And thank you for being a total fucking nerd for this brilliant band.
Yeah.
All right.
Your daughter's teacher there. I don't know. I just sort of, he might have mad them a little bit, but I've had people mad them, but then there's a reason. Like they haven't heard the right No Means No. They haven't heard
that's
it
right.
the right time.
That's right.
Somebody who's
That's
into those bands, I have a feeling like it's just a matter of saturation or a matter of context. That's
my
lacking.
crusade is not over. My crusade is not over.
Or
We're clearly destined to kind of become friends. Like we were really talking about how, like he doesn't really have a lot of people to go to these shows with, but he goes to tons of shows. So this is my mission now to be like, all right. And next time I'm going to be very explicit about it. I'm going to be like, all right, dude, fucking, you broke my heart.
Yeah,
Tell me why you're not into this band, and let's fucking. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna dip you. I'm gonna dunk your head under the baptismal pool, and maybe not bring it back up until you beg me to let you bring it back up. So I'm not
Violence.
done, but it's funny how we've talked about this before. Like, what do you introduce in newbie, all that kind of stuff. But in the real world, when someone like, there's almost nothing else in the world that will quietly shrink me back into my soul, like someone meh-ing No Means No. By someone going like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go over here now. I'm gonna tie a small little child.
No.
So anyway, there's that. Let's not belabor that anymore. Listen,
That's why he called me to make the podcast, because he knew I was the exact opposite of that.
I know right where you're at.
I don't know why it's if this is appropriate to do right now, but I have been introduced to a lot of people seem to like it when we bring up bands that we like or are listening to.
Yeah, notice that.
Oh yeah,
and this was kind of a trying not to make the story too long. I found out that they were coming too late to get a ticket. Unfortunately, like it was already sold out by the time that I found out the show was even happening. There were some at the door. I didn't really want to, because I am old and I have spent quite a lot of the last few years not feeling well. I sort of assumed I wouldn't want to be standing in line. I wouldn't want. It's an outdoor venue as well. I didn't want to sit through 3 bands to go and see the band I came to see. So, but it kind of rolled around, and I'm like, I could be at that show right now, and I actually have the energy. I could have gone. And that was kind of a nice revelation that since my surgery,
that's great.
That I would have had the energy to go. I didn't go. Anyway, the band is called Radioactivity. I think they're from Texas or something. And they are really fucking good. Kind of like, not pop punk, certainly not that, but more kind of a little bit more singy, a little bit more melodic, maybe in your sort of Stiff Little Fingers vein. Really fucking good. So I don't know how new they are. I think they're relatively new, but check them out.
Like Violent Femmes kind of too?
No. It's definitely
not Violent
like
Femmes.
punk band, but Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, some more. Yeah. All
Well,
right.
I can already see that
electric.
when this episode drops, Matthew's going to have to post a couple juicy YouTube clips on the
Yeah.
Facebook group to
Oh,
curate for us.
and I'm going to see Ginger at the end of the month.
I don't know them. I know I
Who are a
should.
Ginger
metal
Baker?
metal band. No, it's Ginger with two
Just
J's
kidding.
instead of two G's. And
Nice.
they are from Donetsk, Ukraine, which is currently occupied
Sweet.
by Russia, and
Yeah.
they do a lot of activism and stuff like that. But the lead singer, I mean, it's really sort of nerdy metal, but the lead singer is this beautiful woman, and she does like the death growl and stuff. It is kind of
Oh,
fantastic.
I don't like death growl stuff.
That is
Well,
hot as
Can't
fuck.
get into it.
Love it.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Love it.
No, do it.
Nice.
Go nuts. Go nuts.
All right. Well, fuck. We can't put it off anymore. We have
No.
to do this first pairing. So there's not.
Spear's pretty
Listen,
Yeah, it's good.
somebody, everybody listening to this is going to come away from this episode happy one way or the
No.
other. Unhappy.
If it makes you feel any better,
Unhappy
we will
will be.
be as well.
We will
be
too.
unhappy.
I'm not. This is.
We will all be
Sometimes I
unhappy.
look at these
What are
and
you
I'm
guys
like, oh,
talking
easy
about?
choices.
It's a no-brainer here.
Well,
No.
for you, I guess, not for me. So anyway, our first pairing tonight, two very, very different songs. We've got "I Can't Stop Talking" versus "I Can't Stop Talking" off of "Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie," 1998, and this one actually won against "Tuck It Away" in episode 15. Michelle was the one dissenting vote on that,
Yeah, I'm sure.
and it is going up against "The Tower."
Song sucks.
From Wrong, 1989. And The Tower won against Going Nowhere in episode 12. And that was a unanimous vote. I think I still stick with both my votes in that.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. Yeah, you too, Matthew, and Michelle too. All right.
Mhm,
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But before we dive into that, let's listen to a little bit of this song.
Stop talking, I can't stop talking. There is no stopping a brain that keeps talking. I know it's not healthy, I know it's not true. I don't even know who I'm talking to. But I can't stop talking. I've got to stop talking all night and all day. I have something to say. I go on and on, though I know it's not true. I've got to stop talking, I'm not talking to you.
Okay, so I'm first. Boy. And as a reminder, I'm sure most of you already know, like we're doing a different, we have been for round 2. We have like our first round, second round stuff. So we kind of compare and contrast the songs now rather than going over them one at a time. These are really difficult to compare.
You're not kidding.
I Can't Stop Talking does kind of fit a later period like template in a way. There's actually another song later in the second half that's very different, but has the same kind of template structure that is recognizable in their later period.
Template. Yep.
And I mean, I fucking love this song. I absolutely love this song, and I love the way that it's one of those songs that Rob's got this bass line that plays against the guitar and plays against the drums in such a way that it's difficult to nail down. It's the way that the syncopation is, the where the downbeat is.
Yes.
I can kind of do a yellow dress, blue dress thing with it and can kind of go, oh, it's this way. No, wait, it's this way. And shift my mental acuity on where it's at. And the song sounds completely different when I do that. And I fucking love that. I think it's great. I think Rob has done a brilliant job in the song of nailing the complete oddity and just fucking irrationality and weirdness of the fact that we just live with this inner monologue all the time. But I think it's very interesting to note, and I think this has just kind of popped up into the popular culture recently, and I don't know how valid this social research is, but apparently there's like 50 to 70% of the world that does not have an inner monologue, which to me is just fucking crazy.
What?
Like I'm always words inside. Words.
Does that just mean that they say the quiet part loud?
I think it's like they're more like body oriented and image oriented, not language oriented, right? Like so they're picked, like when they're the description I read of like someone who's reading is that they're just reading the words and it just like it doesn't translate into images, which seems a little counterintuitive for what it's saying someone who's not lingual.
I thought that's what reading was.
Well, but there's some people who read and the images are evoked for them and they get carried away into visualizing what's being said, not just stopping at what the information is. But this very look that you have on your face, like, what does that mean? This is what I love about Rob. Like, right. Rob gets down to the bottom of just the weird fucking nature of what it means to a human being. Like the kind of things we kind of take for granted. What does it mean to always be talking to ourselves? What does it mean to have that voice in our head? And then leads kind of to my favorite question in the whole song, which is, if I'm the talker, here's the thing, just who the hell is listening? Right? Like what's more key, the part that talks or the part that is just naked attention, the part that just hears, the part that listens, which is a very Buddhist fucking thing. Because that's really what, in a sense, what the Buddhists are going for, is trying to get below the level of thought to that level that is the listener, that is the attention, the naked attention. And he really, I think, really beautifully describes the prison that we live in with language. And I think that looping fucking riff that keeps going and going and going is very much like that just endless string of fucking thoughts that will never stop no matter what. And musically, I love when No Means No does a good fucking beat drop, and they just do a hell of a beat drop in this song where they have that and you're just like, oh yeah, bring it, and they don't fucking disappoint. They just drop it all on your head and totally fucking bring it home. And I love the fact that it does stop a couple of times and then keeps going. Just like with your thoughts, right? You think, a moment of peace, and then nope, it's right back at it. So again, it's like the music itself plays into the themes of the song. I think, musically, I love the main riff. Yes, it's very repetitive, but it's really fucking tight and it's complex and proggy. This is a total fucking prog song. I think it's fucking great. And it's personal in the way, but not, it's ultra personal. It's about just the experience of being a human being, which I think Rob is just really fucking good at, man. This guy's thought
Yeah.
a great deal about these things, and it's funny. It's a funny fucking song, and it's the one time that I still treasure and am humiliated about the fact that I was I told the story already, but I was like saw a show one night where he had like a big preamble about it, and saw the show the second night, and as he was saying it, I was in the front row going like, "Don't stop talking, don't stop talking."
Oh, that's right.
And he looked down at me and he was
Yeah.
like, "This young man's read the libretto," and I was like, "Oh fuck,
The libretto.
I'm one of those guys." God damn it!
Oh, that's
Even when he's
funny.
heckling back at the crowd, he uses two penny words. So yeah, I love it. I love it, and it's very heady, thinking, proggy song. Then we have something on the opposite end of the spectrum, a visceral fucking like hammer to the head and guts and groin, the Tower, which just is a powerhouse, this song.
Yes.
And, you know, the 1-2 punch of It's Catching Up in the Tower is just a glorious opening to a fucking album. Loved that when Andy told us that Rob demanded that they slow everything down just a little bit after it had been recorded so that it sounded more menacing and just a little bit lower. So the whole recording of the music,
like they lowered the pitch.
They lowered the pitch so that it would sound a little more menacing.
Yeah.
And you know what's really interesting listening to the lyrics this time? There's a lot of tarot references in here for sure, particularly Crowley's tarot. And there's tarot imagery all over it. But knowing that Matthew found the actual tower or identified it, we've had that confirmed. And hearing Rob hint that there was a story around that tower that he wouldn't tell because it really kind of belonged to someone else, really made me listen to this song in a different way now. Like now it sounds, yes, there are these archetypal images, but I can also kind of pick out that there's something deeply personal going on. He's talking about a real, like the Tower tarot card is all about sort of radical, even catastrophic change. It marks really big periods of change in one's life, right? That's why there's this huge lightning bolt destroying this tower. It's like forces from above just fucking all your shit up, basically, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I wonder if, and I don't ever want to know, but it makes me think that this song is not just a song like that about something very archetypal, but that there was something deeply personal behind it. And now that I listen to the song that way, I can't help but hear it. Right. Something so strictly personal,
right.
Which actually gives it a lot more flavor. And I'm a little disappointed now that the image in my head of the red unblinking eye is not of a massive, like, you know, world destroying eye. It's a fucking blinking radio light, right? Like I'm like, oh, it's probably the red blinking radio light is the red unblinking eye, although that blinks. So who the fuck knows?
Right.
But those two images living side by side, there's just a lot of frisson, and it's more interesting to me now to kind of think of how Rob was probably taking something deeply personal that had happened that was very affecting, but couching it in these very archetypal terms and using the tarot, which we know he was kind of studying at the time in one way or another or interested in, and merging those two things together. I don't know. It adds a lot of power to it. I think it's fucking great,
doesn't it? Yeah.
And musically,
Mystery.
I mean, come on, this song is just fucking so good. It's not like their most complex, like bass lines or anything like that, especially coming off of It's Catching Up, which is actually really, I think, smart. But it's so fucking rich and dark, and the way that the guitars are layered in, and Andy does such a brilliant fucking job with this, and Rob's vocal delivery is just incredible. I mean, those screeches, the tower, it's just it's insane. It's insane. He's out of his mind and sends me out of my mind. So I think the Tower is a visceral masterpiece, and you know, it certainly tees up that first half of Wrong as just an absolute masterpiece.
Pinnacle.
It's a pinnacle of sorts for sure, and a pinnacle in their visceral mode, right? Like
I think you said Panacook.
Panacook or Panicotti. I Can't Stop Talking, I think, is a brilliant fucking intellectual song, and I love it for that because I love that side of the band. And then The Tower is this very visceral song, so that's why it's really hard for me to compare and contrast these. These really do live on opposite sides of the spectrum. I mean, in terms of highlights in these songs, I Can't Stop Talking, the beat drop is for me the highlight. I just fucking love that. I just love I don't know. Maybe I'm a club kid at heart, but I just love that fucking build up and the
No,
smacking me over the head with it.
That's
Fucking
good
love
stuff.
it. And the Tower, Rob's screech on that one part is just so fucking good. It's so visceral and raw and just pure Rob. And I don't know how he could ever speak again after recording some of these songs. I just don't fucking know. Speaking of death metal growl, but it comes straight up from his guts, from a real place. It's not affected. When he does that to me, he does that to me. When he does that in the songs, it doesn't feel affected to me like it does with some other artists. It's not just a vocal trick. It feels like it's really coming up from somewhere, and it's really got something behind it. And that's why I love it so much. Things that
and he
bug
sounds
me,
like his bass too.
Yes.
You know how he's kind of
Yep.
emulating how his bass sounds.
Yes.
Just how
Yes.
wonderful it is.
Good point.
Totally.
Things that bug me. Speaking of that instrumental section at the end of I Can't Stop Talking, I don't know what it is. And this actually happens for me on other parts of Dance of the Headless. And I could pick out parts of various songs. I think it's just the engineering. I feel like the guitars aren't very well mixed. They feel a little like not blended in enough. They feel a little removed.
Huh.
Like, I don't know. Like in a certain part, they're very heavy and it's very great, but it's almost just like they're too far above it. They're not connected with the bass line or maybe the bass isn't up enough. I don't know what it is.
The end of I Can't Stop Talking.
The end of I Can't Stop Talking. I mean, it's very, it's a wall of sound. But
I love the end. Yeah.
There's just something about it, a little bit, right? It doesn't really take away from me, but it's just something I've noticed. There's a little bit of that with the drums for me at the end of The Story Can't Be Told. Like it's just something not quite right in the mix that makes them not quite fit in the way they should. But still fucking brilliant.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think in terms of like really analyzing these songs, it's hard for me to do all that again because I really went into these songs before. I went back and looked at my notes. I'm like, I already said everything I have to say about them. You know, like I don't need to. And even I Can't Stop Talking. I had a whole fucking thesis about it. So I'm not going to bore everyone with that again. But I mean, two interesting songs to put together. I like it when there's songs that are on such different fucking ends of their scale, but that makes it hard to choose for me because it's not like, oh, which of these two in this mode do you like? It's like, no, they're two modes. I don't want to kick one out.
I know.
Here we go. All right, Michelle, what do you think of this shit?
Okay, Can't Stop Talking. It's just kooky. It's just kooky, isn't it? It's quite the toe tapper and jaunty. I just think it's fun to listen to. The Tower is absolutely not jaunty and a toe tapper. I really like both of the songs, but one clearly towers over the other. Like my dad joke there.
I'm the dad here. I get those dad jokes. God damn it.
Hey, we've got fur babies. They count.
Fair enough.
Anyways, both songs are crafted well, and they each introduce separate sections quite seamlessly. I like the songwriting in that, and how really seamless those different sections meld together. The Tower has more streamlined roads that connect its parts that musically make more sense to my ear. Can't Stop Talking has an interesting start to it, just like you were saying, Jordan. I wrote about this, and that the riff that seems to start on the downbeat ends up moving to the upbeat or the and of the beat when the drums, keys, and guitar join in. That's what you were talking about.
That is, exactly.
It's very interesting that grabs your ear and say, hey, wait, what? That kind of thing. Fun stuff. Rob sounds really cool singing this. And I like his kind of whispers. He does a lot of whispers in it and just cool, loud lines and humor. The Tower, man, it's just fucking sludge and snare. It's so passionate, and while this one isn't too technically challenging for them to play, their delivery is the juiciest bits, along with the powerful lyrics that I know both Matthew and Jordan will touch on, which I think you did. A truly powerful piece with loads to chew on.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew.
Yeah, the visceral versus the cerebral. I think Andy said right near the beginning that we were Bones and Kirk and Spock.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting comparison for these songs. I Can't Stop Talking. This songwriting for me, it's not really that interesting musically in a lot of ways because it is so repetitive. I mean, I think there's a point to that. Um, I mean, this isn't much good for the listeners. It made me draw these little diagrams. So
Cool.
a dot with a circle around it or a wavy circle around it is the structure, kind of how it makes me feel of a stop, can't stop talking, and a dot with arrows very straight, all from different directions going to the same point is the tower. Both
That's the tower, baby.
both of them have such movement to them,
Interesting.
but they're very, very, very different in the
Like an
movement that they
egg
do.
I
and an
love that.
asshole. Like one
Yeah,
looks like
something like that.
like the asshole. One looks like an egg. The other looks like a boob.
The
All right, I'm
performance
sorry.
of Can't Stop Talking is very. I wrote initially very Rob heavy, but then this song is actually maybe one with the most Tom in it. It's got so
It
much
is.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The guitar part, you mean? Like just the way the riffs
just the guitars
are
generally.
going?
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that is a little bit like Tom was sort of carving out a little bit more room for himself. Although I think the structure of the song, in a lot of ways, is written to showcase the lyrics.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of
Interesting. Yeah.
feel to it,
Yeah.
which actually reminds me of Showbiz Giant songs. Actually, so
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit more
Yeah.
rollicking kind of feel, the circularity.
Yep.
I've
Yeah.
mentioned before the Country Ride on Demerol is the song that sometimes those songs that maybe have more Tom influence remind me of. I think the lyrics are great. Some of them are just fantastic. I mean, they really make you think. But again, yeah, the music is secondary to the lyrics, I think, in a lot of ways. And the part that where it really does let go towards the end, that's I think I don't really care for the breakdown and then the disjointed nature of how it moves towards the end. And there's very interesting bits, but it feels a little disharmonious in some ways for me. But maybe that's the point. It is certainly the structure of the song reflects the lyrics, and that's really
Yeah.
on purpose, I'm sure.
Always.
In the tower, I think everything's really equal. Like they're really they play so perfectly balanced, and then back off where they need to back off, and so come to the fore when they need to come to the fore. Each player.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have sung this but Rob. It's some of his best. I mean, there's the Sprechgesang, and then singing, and then I haven't listened to. I used to go a lot of walks and listen to these songs. I haven't been doing that as much, but I've been listening to them quite loud on my garage stereo. And I pick up detail that I probably haven't noticed before. And there's somebody doing backup stuff, like there's or at least sort of streaking the tower. There's somebody else sort of following around the tower behind him. Some stuff I don't know whether it's an effect on Rob's vocals or whether it's somebody else, probably John, just screaming, and he's getting picked up by the drum mics because it's not to the fore in any way at all. But there's someone.
It's very layered. You're right, though. It sounds like the screaming of the tower feels like it goes back forever. It's really interesting.
But there's an ISO booth though in a recording studio.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they did it. I don't know.
Right,
if it's
maybe
in
he
production,
wasn't.
but
Maybe
there's
he wasn't.
some stuff that was maybe done a little more live. Who knows how much time they could afford in the studio right? So there's more vocals and there's more. So just really raw screaming vocals that I don't think are Rob, or at least they're not the same Rob track that's singing the main lyrics, which is pretty great. The lyrics, they're not that complicated, but they're super evocative. This is one of those kind of mythological songs that really gives me synesthesia. I mean, it's very descriptive, obviously, but it's very specific, and the images is very black, red, and white, like just like the album cover. The drums really describe the feel of the song. I think they set the tone. I mean, obviously the rhythm, but there are not quiet, loud parts, but there is some contrast, and then the guitars are painting the background as Andy does so incredibly well. The let's see, highlights for me, and I can't stop talking. Some of the lyrics are just fantastic. The silence of that final word, a chain of words that binds the world.
Oh,
Just
inner fever,
incredibly
all I
good.
see. Ugh,
Yeah,
so
really,
good.
really great, great lyrics, and I love
Cram those words back down your neck.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really totally like deep dropped spread glottis.
Yeah.
That he's doing
Yeah.
there.
Spread glottis.
He is cramming the words down his own throat.
That's right.
Yeah.
And one really funny thing, and that I like in I Can't Stop Talking, is there's this weird little fart of a note that Tom is doing.
What?
And it's not totally in time all the time. The part where it goes dun, 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 dun. It's sort of dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, right.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
It's very silly and very funny.
It's like Mario.
Like that stupid thought that comes to your head unbidden. What do I really like about the Tower? I think just the rawness of the vocals and the playing. It's just like an open fucking wound of a song. It is just how incredibly passionate and muscular it is. It is like a roiling massive tentacles of a song. Just fantastic. And at the end where they just slow down and slow down and slow down, it's like somebody who's incredibly angry that's beating somebody to death, and they're not running out of anger, but they're getting tired.
Yeah, right.
Hey.
Dun, 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 dun.
And the way it moves into fucking what's the name of that song? God damn it.
Fuck.
We're all
I
blanking.
need lunch.
I know,
Yeah.
but what's
I
the
need
Brainless Wonder. Brainless Wonder.
Brainless Wonder. The way it moves into Brainless Wonder is
Oh my
fucking
God.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's anything that
fucking wonder.
that is difficult for me about the Tower, it's just that it really is better chasing. It's catching up. I think
It is.
You need the two.
Yeah. They play off, and to also Brainless Wonder, like the three of those together.
True.
God,
There's such
I
a
know.
brilliant statement, and they all hit different
yes.
important
Yep.
notes about the band so well, and just show you. That's why, like, when Russell sat me down, put the headphones on, and those are the first three songs, I'm like, what the fuck? And then it goes into Tired of Waiting, and it's like, no, what are you talking about? What is this band? This is not a real thing. This is not real.
God, I just remember sitting in the park with my boyfriend, listening to this, staring at the tape player, just like, what the fuck?
Probably one of my favorite recontextualizations of all time, though, Matthew, was you bringing the picture of that tower to connect the personal to this song. That was so fucking great. That was so fucking
And then
great.
you asked Robs if that was the Tower, and you said what street it was on and everything, and he said,
he knew. And to hear that there's a real story there, it was great.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we muscled in on your shit. You got anything more,
No,
Matthew?
that's it.
All right, so second round. First of all, I wanted one of the things you said, Matthew. I want to back up for me too. It made me realize that you talked about that this song was very evocative for you. I think visually, for me, this is probably one of their most visually evocative songs. This is the one where, when I close my eyes, there are all sorts of images that pop in, to the degree that there were a couple of times when I was trying my hand at like animating, which I never got far because I didn't have the patience. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make the Tower. I wanted to make a fucking cartoon, animated like thing about the fucking Tower, and I would just spend all this time visualizing what was going to happen.
It's
It
funny you
just
should say
lived
that.
in my head that way. Did you have the same?
Well, no, it's just I think it's lost for me is visually it's a side scroller. I'm not much of a video game player, but it's
that
the same,
could totally be. Yeah,
it's the same series of games. Lost is the side scroller, and the Tower is a first person.
It's definitely first person.
What the
And
fuck
yeah,
is a side scroller? What is
it's
this?
like one of those like Mario games where you're running along and you're going side to side, and
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Side scroller.
Gamers know.
Strange you don't.
So Are these songs representative of No Means No as a whole? Well, I think they are in very, very different ways. I think I Can't Stop Talking is very evocative of their very fun, proggy side and of Rob's utter genius at being a lyricist
Mm-hmm.
and at how, Matthew, you talked about how this was how the music really serves the lyrics in this. And I would absolutely have to agree. And I think that's also sometimes that's very representative of a portion of No Means No song. Sometimes it's to
Yep. Yep.
serve the meaning of the words. And I do think that while it's very repetitive, that very much serves the theme. I mean, it would be dumb to have a song about the nature of being trapped in the circle of thoughts and not have it be a song with a riff that was on a constant loop. It would just be like, well, then it would not be as effective. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how the song suits the theme, by having that looping fucking fuck. And at the very beginning, Michelle, you talked about kind of backing me up how it's got that interesting, the way that the nature of that riff changes. It makes me pay attention. It brings my
Oh
attention
yeah.
into the song, right? It
Sure.
brings me
Sure.
into myself
Yep.
because I'm like, what is that? I can't quite grasp it. Just like
Yep.
when you're really turning yourself inward and noticing that you have thoughts, it's that same sort of like, wait, oh, instead of just being stuck in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's evocative in that sense, right? There are a cadre of those very intellectual songs, mostly Rob heavy, that exist, and I fucking love that side of it. And then the Tower, also very representative of No Means No as a whole, of their raw, emotional, visceral power, and how they let loose in a very controlled way
Yeah.
that lets me be out of control inside and let completely loose, but they keep it tight and fucking directed like a laser beam of fire that allows me to go nuts. They don't have to. I mean, they are, but in a different way. It's like a thin fire hose of fucking intensity, not just fucking all over the place.
I like that.
It's fucking amazing.
Yep.
And there's a lot of songs that they have in that. So they're very, very indicative of the oeuvre. And would I introduce newbies to either of these songs? Probably, depending on the person. I mean, the Tower, 100%. If they were anybody who liked hardcore, it'd be like, fucking listen to this and then tell me that your music is good. Like, no, I'm sorry. This is. I mean, come on, it's the Tower.
Oh, yeah?
Fuck you. I Can't Stop Talking with a different kind of person. If they weren't necessarily someone who was into hardcore, but I wanted to tip them into this, you could play this for somebody who wasn't a punk, didn't love that kind of music, and they'd probably go like, oh, that's fucking really interesting. Listen to that. Or someone who I knew was very lyrically oriented, because you can really grok these lyrics pretty well. You don't have to listen hard. You don't have to, what does he say there? Like, it's Rob, there's nothing here that's unclear in those lyrics. So for a very lyrically minded person or a poet that I wanted to impress with the band, I might play them the songs. I think, or someone like, I know some people who are very much into Eastern religion and shit like that. Like, oh, listen, here's this punk band that played a song that you'll very much appreciate from the way that this artist is describing the human condition. So I think for different newbies, I would play these songs. Would either of them be my first choice? Probably not. I Can't Stop Talking, although it would be in there as in my back pocket. The Tower, yeah, would be a more like, oh yeah, let's fucking listen to this. This fucking kicks ass. Just because it's so visceral, and you don't have to listen to the words to get it. All you have to hear is the Tower shouted over and over again. So I think that they're both worthy songs. The Tower is more likely to hook somebody, I would think, if they're of the kind that would get into No Means No, and they might want to then keep listening to the rest of the fucking album, which would be a gift for them if they knew it was good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's my round two. Michelle, how about you?
Oh, I always suck in round two, man.
Well, listen, are they representative of No Means No as a whole?
Well, yes.
And would you introduce them to a newbie?
I know the questions, but I just have a
It's
hard time answering them. I'm certainly not going to answer them just like the way you just did, which was very cool and very interesting to listen to.
No one wants to hear me again.
Not yet. All right. The Tower, is that pinnacle No Means No? Fuck yeah. You can't get any more. The power in that song is so good. It's so distinct and it's so in your face, and I fucking love it. Can't Stop Talking, I think, for their later material, I think it's a pinnacle part of their later material, and it's a great song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. The first part of the second round.
All right. Well, that's
And the intro to somebody. Do I do this now?
the what?
The
Oh yeah, the
intro?
newbie. You talked
Yeah,
about the newbie stuff. Yeah.
This is another one I have a hard time with because I'm always thinking that people listen to music like I do, and nobody listens to music the same way nobody looks at art or does anything the same way as
That's right.
yourself does. So I don't know. Would I play the tower for somebody? Yes. To just hear the onslaught, to hear the God in your face, it's amazing. Can't stop talking. No. I've used this line before, but if I was having a dinner party, sure, I'd put that on, or for just some light-hearted type
It's dinner party, no means
thing.
no.
Dinner party, no means no. Yeah, no
There you
means
go.
no dinner party.
All right.
Yeah.
Matthew, how about you? Round 2.
I don't think it's particularly representative. I can't stop talking is what I'm talking about. Not particularly representative. It's representative of a certain kind of No Means No song, but I don't think it predicts what, if it was the first song of No Means No's that you heard, it probably is less predictive than if you heard The Tower for the first time. It's like
True.
Yeah.
So you sort of, I think, yeah, The Tower is maybe more. It'll lead you to expect. You'll probably get more what you're expecting, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't think that I Can't Stop Talking is. I think lyrically very representative, thematically very representative, but I think in terms of how lyrics focused it is, I don't think it's necessarily the most representative No Means No song. Whereas, The Tower is very anthemic. I think in terms of
Anthemic. Good
their
word.
oeuvre, the oeuvre of No Means No. It would be hard for me to say. Everybody seems to know. People who don't know No Means No very much or very well always seem to know Rags and Bones or The Tower, and I don't know which of those songs is more important on Wrong, but I think those are probably the two most important on Wrong.
Yeah.
And I Can't Stop Talking. I don't know if it's the top
Really?
of its album, much less in the sort of important in the the hierarchy of No Means No songs. I don't think I would play I Can't Stop Talking for like you. I mean, if you could read along with it, if you could read the lyrics, and if it was somebody very very word oriented, then maybe. But the Tower, most definitely, like it is.
Yeah. Most def.
It's a great song as well as a great No Means No song. And I think a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life and preferences would at least appreciate what it is and what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its power transcends being into punk, I think. Like I feel like there's something about the Tower that even if you don't really like that sort of music,
I don't think it's really a punk song. Yeah.
It's not. But even hardcore, whatever you want to call it, it's very intense, right? But even if you're someone who doesn't like an intense music, it just feels like something you just would have to appreciate. Yeah, right. You just would have to appreciate
to
regardless.
Put it in its spot. It really is.
Well, that's what's beautiful about this band.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna vote. So, I mean, yeah, in the end, this is an easy choice for me. It's really easy, but I think I Can't Stop Talking is a brilliant late period song, and I do think it's representative of their move of a slow move they do in the late period. I think you can hear more of this as you slide towards the tour EPs and stuff like that from what Rob does. And I think we have a song that's better of this mode in round 2, frankly, in a sense. And so in that way, I do think it's kind of representative, and I think it's fucking great. And I do love it on this album. It's not the highlight of dance for me, but there are some lowlights on that album, and this is not one of them. I do really like it. I think sequencing wise, it's pretty great. Anyway, this is like I'm talking in a 30-second segment instead of just voting. My vote is for The Tower, which is a fucking masterpiece. So there's that. Michelle, how about you?
I'm voting with you, baby. The Tower all the way.
Yeah. Matthew, how about you?
Oh, me too. I don't think there's any contest here really.
The Tower.
No.
I
the
really
Tower.
The Tower. I mean, in terms of what I
Tower
would put on for
power.
myself, I don't know
Yeah.
that I Can't Stop Talking would be in the top 30 to 40. But
Oh, it is for me. I think I probably like it better than both of you, but it's not the Tower by any respect.
It
No.
ain't no tower.
No. It's great live, I have to say. I can't stop talking. It's fucking great live. That's
Yeah,
a fun fucking song live.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, the Tower wins. It's going to go into this ephemeral round 3, should it ever exist. We'll see about that if we can keep our fucking thing going. I mean, I want it to. I'm just saying. It's hard to even imagine a round 3
keep
at
our
this
sticks
point.
on the
You
ice.
could have a boxing round.
And I Can't Stop Talking has had duct tape just put over its mouth and stuck in the trunk. So what are you going to do? Cut off its pinky, call it stinky. So
Oh God.
we are going to move kind of straight into round 2 because guess what? Nobody's sending the shit. You know the last time we got an email?
Nothing.
You know the last time we got an email? It was someone telling us that we'd forgotten to read their email from a long time ago, which, by the way, we appreciate.
Did you do that?
We did. We read those too.
Right.
They were fucking great. And you know what? I'm not going to shame any of you. Yes, I am. But, you know, it would be nice if you guys wanted to write us, you know, because it's kind of like our egos get a little hurt if you don't write anything in. So I would just really like it. Write us. If you could, you know, just, I don't know, put your key things on the keyboard, write us an email, and just do whatever. You don't have to, but fucking do it. Just whatever you want to do.
Oh,
I don't really care. You don't have to do it. But just write us an email. You can write us at nomeansnothingpodcast@gmail.com. Write an email. And if you just do it, we'll have something to read. You won't have to listen to this fucking bullshit every time. Write us an email. Just do it. It's not Chuck. He's written us a lot. I love it. It's great. I want to hear from some of the other people. Chuck, write us again. Why don't you write us?
Yeah.
We haven't heard shit from you in a long time. Somebody send us something.
You got the cops to show up at your
Fuck's
house.
sake. We got to have them. We got to have this segment. What are we going to do in this segment?
And our kind of icebreaker questions are your no means no origin story. What does no means no mean to you? And if you have a story about no means no or related to no means no in some way that is personally relevant or significant, then tell us that. Write us anything else if you want. I mean, if you sent us those things, send us in. Yeah.
Anything.
Feelings that you had when we
recipe.
booted out your favorite song, or the little dance that you did. Describe that when we advanced your favorite song. Just give us an email, please. No means nothing podcast @gmail.com.
It don't have to be long, right? Here's one of the things I suspect, and this is just me. The submissions have been so. I was going to say, the submissions have been so fucking good. You might say like, oh, I can't, right? How am I going to write something? Do not think that. You know who else thought that? Every other fucking person that wrote in one of those things. They almost all started with like, well, this is going to suck, but, and none of them did.
No.
So,
and I know I have castigated them before, but you know what? If you're listening to this podcast, your fucking English is better than whatever the fuck you speak for us.
Exactly.
So fucking chill. Your English is awesome. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. And if you haven't figured out already, Matthew is very good at pronouncing foreign countries, foreign cities, foreign words.
Names,
so don't worry about that
places.
neither. And listen, it doesn't have to be some. It doesn't have to be some monumental story of fucking putting a band up in your house and seeing them in your sister's pink bedroom and all that mythical shit. It can just be from the heart, right? Like you're listening to this band because you love them. Just sit down and like maybe for yourself, like, well, let me see if I can just write why I love them so much. Let me sit down. Why do I love them? Let me see what comes out when I just sit at a keyboard and write this shit, or talk, even better, talk into a microphone for a little while into my phone about why I love them. Don't worry about how it's going to sound. Don't worry about crafting it for us. Craft it for yourself, and then send it to us. So
tell us about the time you were running around drunk like an idiot after the No Means No So, and you slipped in some goose shit, and you fell in the pond, and then you got out and you slipped again, and everybody laughed at you. And later on, you passed out under a truck and shit yourself.
Couldn't find the shirt you bought.
That's right.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, just fucking do something, man. We need something. We need you. We need you. We're not asking you for money. I'm not setting up a Patreon. I'm not doing any of that bullshit that other podcasts do. You know, all I want from you, I don't want your money. I just want your fucking contributions.
Yeah.
That's it. I want your stories. I want your stories, because this podcast is about the whole fucking community, not just us three nerds. So there's that.
We're going to start calling people. We should just start phoning them.
We should. You know what? I'm going to start calling out, like, we've got this great Instagram like a bunch of
group.
people,
There's
Facebook
phone numbers
group,
on
all
there.
these kind of people. I don't
There's
even want
phone
to do that.
numbers
I'm
on
going to
there.
start calling you out by name. I'm going to start saying like, hey, what's your fucking story?
Yeah.
Why don't you fucking send us something? So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a threat.
Get
That's a
their
threat.
handles.
Their
on
handles,
Instagram
right? I'm
might
going to
be
start being
different
like,
from
all right. Yeah, what's your
real name
fucking
on
story?
this
You're up dick. Now you're called out. You don't do it. Anyway, I'm probably not going to do that.
Did we ever ask Rob these questions? Have I ever asked that before? Wouldn't that have been funny to have Rob? What does no means no mean to you?
Boy, that was hard.
Wouldn't
we
that
didn't
have been fucking
really
funny?
we didn't have much time to ask Rob questions. That guy was already
I don't
queued up.
give a shit. I'm asking for a second episode right here now. We
Yeah,
should
well,
ask him those.
Yeah, we'll ask.
What's your no means no origin
We're lucky
story?
to get one. Well, we
I
got
was
that.
born.
We did get that. So listen, does any of the two ZUs needs a little pee-pee break, or how we doing?
Yeah, I'll probably be more comfortable.
All right, why don't you take a pee-pee break?
You're gonna go spend a penny?
I'm gonna take a little pee-pee break. We'll be right back. See you.
All right.
See you in a second, everybody.
Bye.
All right, our urine is drained, and we are back for round 2. Some of us are liquidated with our new drinks. I got nothing, but that's all right. And we are going to start with another killer second set, a fucking banger of a set. So our two competitors creeping over the horizon, flames blasting from behind the mountains. First up is Metronome off of Sex Mad, 1986. And of course, infamously, beautifully on Live and Cuddly, 1991. Yeah. That one won out against Mondo Nihilismo 2000 by a unanimous vote, which I would imagine all of us would stand behind still. It is going up against fucking Graveyard Shift off of One from 2000. Graveyard Shift, which is fucking unreal to me, but I now understand why, I guess, looking at what it was up against, is a people's choice. We did not vote that shit through. It lost against Kill Everyone Now in episode 29.
Oh.
And Matthew was the single dissenter on that. He was a Graveyard Shift guy, and you and I were Kill Everyone Now, which actually I would probably still stand behind, but that's a hard one. That was not easy then. It wouldn't be easy now. That's fucking hard.
Right, yeah.
So we got Metronome versus Graveyard Shift. We're going to hear a little bit of that. Let me just start this metronome at, 180 beats a minute. And dig up my grave, and let's listen to it right now.
This song, I said it was about trying to fit round pegs into square holes or something like that. Tonight, what the song's about is control. Control. Knowing just what you're gonna do. Knowing just what you're gonna say. And what someone else is gonna say to you. And make you do. I make you do, and then you make someone else do, and you make them fit into these square little boxes, all in the name of order, 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 order. It's so appealing. Steady. Yeah. Steady.
I like the Graveyard Shift. It's quiet. I can read all night. I don't mind wearing a uniform. I don't mind walking in the dark. You make your rounds. You check all the locks. And when the sun rises, when everyone is getting up, you punch out and go home.
There will never be the same.
All right, Matthew, regale us with your...
fuck this.
Yeah.
Fuck this
Yeah,
one.
What
fuck
hap-
this, right? Fuck this. This choice. This
Oh.
choice blows.
Yeah, I don't like this one. No.
Nope.
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 A favorite from the early days and a favorite from the latter day stuff. Fuck it. It's yeah. All right, I'll do my best. I don't know whether I've decided yet.
Me neither.
Well, let this help you.
There we go.
Oh, I want to jump out of my skin and be free.
So, Metronome is possibly one of the most infectious. It's one of the songs that makes me want to move around the most, and it is just so precise. I mean, they kind of go in and out of a little bit looser, and then they just lock right back into the groove. And when they do it, it's just like you have pulled your Aston Martin onto the freeway or something. It's just like zoom.
Aston Martin?
I don't know. You kind of need something classy.
Yeah, exactly.
AMC Pacer, man. That's how I'm getting on there. AMC Pacer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
I
going to be
love
quite
those
as
cars.
smooth of a ride somehow.
I don't care. I love those cars. Remember that orange one we saw?
Oh yeah, up in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no guitar in this song, but it is still so fucking Andy. Because it is just so raw and has so much energy, and it is so much about that Victoria thing that I talk about frequently, where the barely constrained energy is tightly your anger, your whatever it might be, just like break out with whatever it takes, whatever form it takes, when you can no longer hold it in. And this song is about the process by which you hold it in, and somehow it is so tightly contained, but there's so much energy contained within that laser of a song.
I like that. Laser.
Yeah, it's
I like that.
utter consistency and constancy, and yet it's still got the quiet and loud bits, and tension, so much tension. That's what I know. There's a lot of kind of new wave-esque action to this song, as well as it's dance music. It's like straight out of late 70s funk bands or something like that. I love the lyrics, and when they are perfectly rhythmically matched to the music, that's fantastic.
Yep.
And then you got Graveyard Shift. Metronome is very, very visceral, very, very, but it doesn't evoke visual stuff for me. It involves movement stuff for me. Graveyard Shift, again, is painting a fucking tapestry. It's I don't know. I think it takes place in the same town as our town, maybe. I'm not sure. It's sort of like your latter day Noah's Zone. Instead of a blasted wasteland, it's like a not post-apocalyptic, just like a depressed port or something like that.
A port, yeah, right? Like a warehouse district. This is definitely a warehouse district of sorts.
Yeah, I love the images that it evokes, and it's very, very introspective, very episodic. The bass and drums have a little bit, incredibly tight changes. There's a little bit more independence to the guitar work, and again, maybe this is one of those songs where Tom is kind of allowed to show himself a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love the Chuck. I love this, the China cymbal.
China.
There's a lot of that. Some of my favorite things about the song, it's a song about like just walking and looking around, and there's one thing rhythmically that really, really stands out to me, and it's just a simple thing. It's hard to describe, and it's hard to even hear exactly what's different, but it's the same beat, but the accent changes. Which hand is the accent?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He does it with the snare. He does it with the floor tom.
Johnny boy.
He's
so good at it.
It changes with every line of lyrics, in the main sort of each section or each stanza, I guess.
Yep.
I love I will never change in the first. You will never change. It will never change.
Yep.
Just this eternity. Nothing ever changes. And then talking about very introspective things, and then addressing somebody who's not present. And then the last stanza, I like the graveyard shift. It's quiet, I can read all night. It's just he's away from all that, away from that. It may be that circumstance permits him to be away from the other conversation, which is constantly going on in his head with that person who isn't present. It's as I said, love the drums chasing the accent hand. One of the low lights for me, though, one of the things that bugs me a little bit about the song is it's very, very, very dark, very, very minor key, but it switches at a part in the bridge. It goes up an octave and changes to a major key, and it sounds a little too happy and optimistic for me, and it doesn't fit for the tone for me. And maybe that's on purpose. Maybe it's just sort of like it just. Sun breaking through the clouds
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
that are roiling, oily clouds that are normally roiling over this environment, and the sun breaks through just there, and I don't want it.
Well, he was walking by the vending machine and saw Snickers hanging half the way down.
Yeah, it could be.
That's when he got his Snickers.
The highlights of Metronome, it's just the way they just lock in, and it's just like into a slot. It is just a metal ball rolling in extremely high speed. I love the echoing vocals, and then this really, really backgroundy, kind of a little bit eerie, and then Rob's vocals are much more close up. The banter in the live and cuddly version is just so fantastic. I mean, he's telling a story,
Christ.
but it's also totally matched up with the music, and the whole preamble in that version. I mean, it's just so amazing that they just like John is riffing, and it's quite a bit longer than the album version. But the banter in time with the music is such an amazing skill.
It is a skill. You're right.
I always talk about like John is an absolute master of drumming, but particularly the hi-hat. He is just genius hi-hat playing in this. Absolutely fucking crazy.
Fucking unreal.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, just both of the they're so of their period. Yeah. And so perfectly like evocative of the times in their body of work that they came out in. So anyway, very difficult to compare, very difficult to think about casting one into the outer darkness.
Seconded.
Oh no!
All right, Strangey, what you got for us?
Metronome, man, what a riff! The sick delivery of this is truly mind-blowing. The heat slowly gets turned up, and I'm all there for it. I've probably heard this literally about 1,000 times.
Yeah, right?
But it's still... I probably have. That is a lot, right? Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I've heard it a lot, and it still gets my hairs standing up.
Yep.
John is the king of this. And as one of you said, I think during the first round, he's directing the whole thing. I think it was you, Jordan, how John's really the conductor of this one. He and here I say he does some amazing, terrific hi-hat work in here.
Oh, fuck.
Yep.
I had to watch a live video of this. I had to watch the live video to be like, how the fuck did he did it? That's two drum tracks. There's no way. Then I watched the live video. I'm like, nope. He just did it. It's just there. Fucking hell.
Okay, speaking of watching a video, in my homework of this, do yourself a favor and watch, this is for Graveyard, by the way, watch the live 2012 A38 Rocks live
Oh
video.
yeah.
of
Post
this.
it on the Facebook group. Try to remember. Like do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or I'll send you the link. Can you?
I can do it,
well,
yeah.
No, can you? Because I suck at that shit.
No, yeah, do it.
I
I'll
put it in
happy
the
to do
wrong
it.
thing or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Graveyard, there is a fantastic live show of this, and they're all killing it. Robbie sounds great, and the camera footage is awesome sauce. There's even a camera. All right,
Over
you want
John.
to talk over fucking
Yeah,
John?
yeah. They
And
have
you
that.
can
They have that.
see-
That great ghosts version, right? Ghosts of Time, where it's over John. Oh
I
my
love
god.
it. Yep, that's the same. That's from the same concert, dude.
I
think
know. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like that whole
Yep.
fucking concert is unreal.
Oh.
It's unreal.
Oh, man,
I want that
yeah.
on DVD or fucking
No,
Blu-ray or
it's
some shit.
it's great. It's and John in the beginning, he's stands
It's
up.
the most
and
professional
he's
they've
got
ever
a
been
beer.
filmed.
Yep, it's a really some smart fucker put a camera above
Yep.
John, which was just amazing. Graveyard doesn't have tons of gymnastics, but man, do they sound kick-ass playing this. Rob is much higher up on the neck in some parts of it. Did you guys notice that? Where
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just way up at the top, which I don't really think of or see very much from him. Tom sounds fantastic, and his parts mirror the bass a bit, which I usually like when in the Andy area in the Andy era when he did that too. The "I Will Never Be the Same" vocal harmonies are a favorite of mine in this one. It's anxious and it's anxiety, and I always gravitate to that. The ending, I especially like too. I like how celebratory it sounds, and it's very satisfying to hear. The Live and Cuddly, that's another one I watched. The video of the Live and Cuddly
So
of
good.
Metronome.
So glad that exists. So glad it
Oh my
exists.
God. Andy's got some dance moves, and it's hilarious. It's a treat indeed. I never knew that John sang so much on that. It also reminds me how similar John and Andy's voices can be to my ear anyways.
Right.
I really have a hard time.
It's interesting. Like he sounds
Telling
more
the
like
two of them
Andy
apart.
early on, and then more like Rob later in his life. Like he kind of bridged the whole range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never knew how much John sang in this one so much
Yeah.
until I've taken the time to watch that video, and the groove John and Rob produce in this is just fucking ass kicking.
Mhm.
And Andy's googly eyed delivery of the lyrics is top notch.
Oh,
That's
I don't want to fucking do this. I mean, these songs
Do
are
it.
so good, and they really are pinnacles of their eras, right? Like this is one of those really hard things. For many people, there's a real like big black bar dividing line between the Andy era, post Andy era. I think Graveyard Shift is an absolute highlight of the post Andy era, and I think that it's similar. Well, let me talk about Metronome first, I guess, because it's in the order. What the fuck do I care about Stand on Ceremony? But I mean, Metronome, Jesus Christ, it's absolutely one of my favorites off Sex Mad, 100%, no question. It's absolutely one of the ones that first, like, it was not the first album I got introduced to, right? I came to Sex Mad after Wrong, I guess, and after Small Parts. And so there were songs that I did not really jive with on Sex Mad. A lot of them, actually. Now I do. Now I fucking love them all, especially after doing this podcast and listening to them carefully. But
Right,
Metronome
yeah.
was an instant like, fuck, this song rules everything. It rules everything. It's so tight. It's so, again, it was one of those songs that, as I talk about a lot, it's so holographic. Like everything about it is perfect. It doesn't need a guitar because it's about that steady fucking beat. And the bass is that fucking beat, not the drums. The bass is the steadiness and the drums are the texture. The drums are how one comes up against that beat, gives into it, fights against it, goes on top of it, tries to sublimate it. But the bass is always fucking there, being the thing that's like, no, keep it steady. And it plays around too, but it's the drums that fucking really play around it. And what other band is not going to go like, oh, it's a song about the metronome. The drums will be the fucking metronome. No. Fuck you. It's the bass that's going to be the metronome, and the drums are going to just be like fucking wild. But in thinking about it for this episode, to me, the canonical version for me right now is the Live and Cuddly version. That version is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Matthew, you mentioned the banter at the beginning, and especially, you hit on this too, the way that Andy plays with the rhythms and just fucking does it, knowing just what you're going to do, knowing just what you're gonna say and what they're gonna say to you, make you do. It's just so fucking good the way it plays under John's like escalating drums and the way he's
God.
fucking playing under his like. It's unreal. I cannot. I would have.
If you were in a bathroom, you would have run out of the bathroom.
I would have
with
just
your pants
pissed all
down.
over myself.
Yeah.
I would give.
Oh, yeah.
I would give my fucking left nut to go back in time and
Oh, my
see
God.
the show.
Yep.
So I'm so grateful for Live and Cuddly. It really is like a gift to have this brilliant fucking encapsulation, and even more, not more so, but in a different way. The fact that that was recorded and we can see it on YouTube now.
Yes.
Andy's delivery in this, and the fact that he doesn't have to play guitar lets him go so much into the delivery of this song. And he is so good in his delivery, and the way Rob can then just really focus on giving texture to that metronomic riff, and John just
Forget about
fuck?
it.
What the
Forget
fuck?
about it.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And it is a very visceral song, as you talked about, Matthew. This is a song that really is a dance song because that's what it's talking about. It's talking about getting out of that trap of our heads and our culture. And what is that impulse that's like, I just want to be a naked, fucking raw human being in the face of this world. I want to do that. I want to break out of my skin and be free. We've all had that urge at some point, and this song encapsulates that better than any fucking song I've ever heard in my life. It is fucking perfect for that. And that is a universal feeling that I would figure some other musician would have captured. But guess what? They fucking haven't. At least not that I've ever encountered. Not like this. It is beautiful for that. It is absolutely fucking gorgeous. And it's deceptively spare, but it's not spare at all, right? It's spare in the sense that it's do 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 do. Like, yeah, it's that over and over and over and over and over again. But it never feels boring. It never feels staid. It never feels like it's overwhelming. It's welcome. It's just fucking incredible. Especially, of course, because John is just, he's not ever letting it be one thing. He's fucking Matthew spilled. Matthew had a oopsie.
Wardrobe malfunction.
So, Metronome is fucking gorgeous. The version we have off of Live and Cuddly is a gift for all of us who love No Means No. The banter is fucking amazing. Like you said, like John's fucking exhortations in the background. Rob's not doing shit here vocally. He's just fucking playing the bass.
He's keeping it steady.
Exactly. But John in the background, the way he's backing up Andy, fucking gorgeous. Absolutely top shelf No Means No, 100%. Graveyard Shift, also fucking top shelf for me. This song is so good. This song is in that same mode as, I guess not in the same mode. It has similarities in its structure to me to Can't Stop Talking. It starts with a riff that goes one way and then changes. Is it da 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 da, or is it da 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 da, right? And it can go either way. So it's kind of just like the Can't Stop Talking. It starts me with a like, wait, where am I? Where I am, and then the rest of the riff comes in and recontextualizes it. It's very Rob speaking into the mic, right? He's very much like speaking into it, and it ends with an epic fucking beat drop. Like all the parts, if you were map it out, they're mapped the same fucking way. Very different tone though. Very different tone. I think this song is so fucking good and so emotionally resonant. I don't think, to me, it's a very intellectual song. It is in its way, but it's so emotionally resonant, not in my body, but in my feelings. It's, this is something I'd highlighted before. Matthew talked about it. The way that he's very I focused in the first stanzas, very you focused in the second stanzas, and very it focused in the third stanzas. He mentions it. I like the Graveyard Shift. It's right. Like he mentions it in the second one a lot more. And the way that this song is a song about both isolation, disconnection, but also reflection and the need for connection. Like, again, it's a very personal song in a certain way. Like, I'm not saying it's personal about Rob, but it sounds like it's a story that someone's telling that's very personal, but it's that because it's diving into something very universal, or at least universal to a certain segment of us, right? The sense that how we replay these exchanges with others in our heads, how so much of our relationships with others exist only within ourselves and not really in a relationship to them. We have more of a relationship to other people in all the shit we think about them all the time, all the conversations we replay with them all the time, than we ever have with actually that person. People exist for us far more in our own heads than they exist in our actual interaction with them. We've spent infinite more time thinking about them, going over what we thought about them, going over what we said to them, going over what they said to us, than those fucking
Than actually
conversations.
interacting.
And this song encapsulates
I thought I was
that.
the only one that did that.
No, it's all of us. And this song is about that. This song is about both the oppressiveness of this, but it's not just oppressive. And this is why, to me, Matthew, that ending where it sounds where it does go up into the majors is key, I think, because this is not just it's not talking about that as just an oppressive thing. This is almost some of the joy of being a human being, that time we spend with ourselves to really reflect on our connection with other people. And that end, I don't think it's ironic. I like the graveyard shift. It's quiet. I can read all night. To me, that's a really, like, as an introvert myself, it's like, no, this is me. It's okay that I like to go to bed when everyone else is waking up. I like to walk around and think. I like to be able to reflect. I like to not have the oppressiveness of human interaction. I like that space to reflect on it. And this person is like, the more I think about it, I know you were right. This is not just someone who's like thinking about things and saying, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. They're like, no, actually, you know what? Now that I'm sitting here and thinking about it and I'm not just in the heat of that interaction, I know you were right. Like, I've now reflected. I've had the time in myself to reflect. I just fucking, the lyrics in the song they're beautiful. They're fucking beautiful. And I love the simplicity of the bass line. It's very simple, but it's so fucking powerful. And I think I'm going to try to highlight this in other songs that I love, but some of the songs to me have a chorus problem. I'm going to say Give Me the Push is a big example. They're great songs, but the chorus pulls me out of it a little bit. It feels too tonally different. Other songs like this one, the chorus is fucking in a pocket that is perfect. It's perfect. The chorus in this song is absolutely fucking perfect. And that's not always the case with their songs for me. Sometimes there are songs that are absolutely brilliant, but the chorus doesn't hook me. It pulls me out. Same actually with one of my favorite songs, All Lies. The chorus in that one, it takes me out a little bit. I wait for it to be over. It's not that it's not good, and that could just be me, but it doesn't fit in the pocket as well as this song. This song, the pocket is so fucking tight and so fucking perfect.
I will never be the same.
Yeah, I will never be the same. Yeah, it's
that's
so
good stuff.
great, and it evolves as it does in All Lies as well. Same fucking thing, but it evolves. The song evolves in subtle ways. It's deceptively simple, but it's not simple. It has darkness. It has joy. And one is you can fight me on this. One is their best produced album by 1,000 miles. This album is so well recorded. Fucking hell. I don't think there's a flaw in the way this album is engineered. It is so fucking perfect in its balance. No parts of it are unbalanced. No part goes above or below where it should be. It's so fucking clear and crisp. Oh, and this song is what a fucking opener. This is a great opener to this album. I think Graveyard Shift is an absolutely fucking top shelf later song. And I am so glad that it got People's Choice, because I would feel really bad I don't know where it's going to go, if it's going on next, but I would be really sad if we weren't able to talk about it, because I think this song is so fucking good. And Rob's performance in this is really good. It's very understated when it needs to be, very powerful when it needs to be. Both of these songs, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, they're so good. So personal highlights. I mean, the entire Live and Cuddly Metronome is a highlight for me. I think it's just fucking incredible. It is what that song is meant to be, because I think them playing that song with the energy of the crowd must have been for them a very peak experience, because it is such a visceral song to see people bouncing to it. And that's what the song is about. To sing that at people and feel that energy back must have been fucking incredible. And you can feel it in that performance.
People didn't mosh to that one as much as just dance.
Just dance and feel it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And so I think that whole performance is a fucking highlight. In Graveyard Shift, it's the highlight for me is how varied Rob gets, how quiet and personal, and how deep and resonant. And that dichotomy, it's in the mini songs, but there's a beauty in the way he does it that feels so deeply universal and personal at the same time, that it's exquisite. It's exquisite. And I think that it's fucking, this is the thing that makes the band so fucking good. Both these songs are what make the band so good. God damn it. So that's my round one. All right, Matthew, round two.
Yeah, I think Metronome is extremely representative of No Means No of the time, and Graveyard Shift is very representative of the later period. It's very like they are really top of the heap in both for me. In terms of where they fit in the body of work, I'd say same thing. They're both really important ones. I would say greatest hits again. I would probably have a hard time not putting both of these on.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Would I introduce a newbie to? Yeah, either of them, but different newbies. I think I could, if I were bringing in somebody who I thought would really get into No Means No generally, or who just listen to similar music as me, I think either of them, interchangeably could sort of draw them in or whatever. But I think I might play Metronome for somebody who was into electronic music or dance music, and whereas Graveyard Shift, somebody who's more into kind of like, I don't know, a Tool fan, or somebody who's really into operatic metal, kind of those sorts of stuff, as well as maybe like sort of sludge and doom type people might get something out of that. So yes, both. So again, it's very difficult. These are very difficult songs to compare for me. And anyway, that's all I'm going to say about round two.
All right, now you got to think about your round three, Matthew. That's where the fucking money hits the road. Strange G, what about you, round two?
Okay, round two. Metronome, very much a part of their oeuvre. Just a highlighted piece of precision and power, and it never gets old. It never fucking ever gets old. Graveyard, it's again like Matthew said. I want to agree with very much what Matthew said in this whole section here. It's a great song of their later time period. It's so interesting, and it just showcases the talent that they have. Even when the song's not over the place and showing off with these great shit, they still have a lot of their heart in it and a lot of their mind, and it's just really interesting, full, digestible, great music. Intro to somebody, both of them, absolutely. Metronome is a sit down and listen to this one. Graveyard Shift, probably a sit down and listen to this, but it's all right if we get talking about something, because again, I'm not really much in. Sadly, my ears aren't focused on the lyrics, but the lyrics are very good with the music that it's written. So when you listen to the music, you can't help but hear the lyrics and realize that they're very intertwined and powerful. And that's my round two.
All right.
Wet lettuce. That was wet lettuce.
It's not at all wet lettuce. I agree with.
I
totally agree with what you said. With what both of you guys said. I think both these songs are representative in different ways of different periods. I think that's the best way to put it. Is that they're very indicative of different periods. Metronome is really indicative of a certain strain of their earlier period, almost like the distillation of what came out of Mama. Like that's like a fine wine of how they carried that bass and drums part out of Mama, but added Andy's energy in. Like, because as you said, Matthew, it's a very Andy song, even though he's not fucking in it on the record at all. Like, he's just not there at all on the recorded one. What's he fucking doing?
Wired.
But it still has that energy. And so to get him up front on the live version is fucking a masterpiece. It's key, and of course, why wouldn't they do that? And then for the later period, Graveyard Shift is a pinnacle. I don't know if it's the pinnacle, but it's a pinnacle. It's so fucking good, so beautiful, and it showed, like, a lot of people talk about No Means No in terms of how complicated they are, what their great musicianship. All of that is true. We talk about that all the time, but they don't have to be doing somersaults to have power. Right. They don't have to be somersaults to be emotionally complex and to hit me in very complex ways. That's what Graveyard Shift shows me. Like, it shows me how fucking powerful and subtle they can be, and touch different parts of me in ways that are incredible, absolutely incredible. And so I think, they're both representative in different ways of different eras, and they're totally different kinds of songs. So just like in the first round, they're, it's hard. They're different scales. I don't want to fucking vote. Would I introduce a new me to both of these? Absolutely. I have before. Yep. These are both fucking great songs. I think, there's all sorts of situations where these would play well with all sorts of fucking people. These are top shelf songs. These are top fucking shelf songs. Neither of them should go, and it's really sad that they're up against each other and not some of the bullshit that we had last week. So,
well, why do we have to vote? Can't we just fucking
nope. These are the rules. These are the rules, Matthew.
It's fucking
I'm
Sophie's
putting you in the hot
here.
seat. What's your fucking vote, sir?
I'm looking at you.
Difficult. I've definitely listened to Metronome far more because it's an older song. Graveyard Shift is. It sort of gets inside you a little bit, doesn't it? I kind of wrote that, that cerebral versus visceral, and they're both actually. Now that I think about it more, I would say that Metronome definitely grabs you by the guts and the balls and the butt and the dance moves. Graveyard Shift doesn't do that, but it's very, very powerful regardless. Like, you can totally, imagine standing on a mountaintop and just like opening your arms to the wind or something like that while listening to that song. Both incredibly different. I think I have to vote for Graveyard Shift.
Oh my god!
Oh fuck!
Because
Michelle.
Because I think it's a better complete song somehow.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing that. I can't believe I just did that.
Well, it's too late to change now. Michelle,
he can change his mind if he wanted to.
Michelle, where are you at?
Well, I'm going to change his mind for him. I'm going Metronome, baby. Team Metronome.
All right.
Not a garden gnome, a metronome.
Fuck.
Jordan.
Fuck. I got a tiebreaker. Fuck you both. So,
Jordan.
Metronome has been one of my favorite songs forever. Like, I just fucking love this song. I just love it. I fucking love it. In my 20s, this would have been like a no-brainer. I'd have been like Metronome, 100%. I'm 51 years old now. Graveyard Shift's the more mature song. Graveyard Shift is a song from someone who's had a lot more experience. It's not just the youthful railing against being stuck in the strictures of what people tell you. It's a song that really sits in what it means to be a fucking human being. They're both brilliant. And there's part of me right now that wants to save Metronome because I've loved that song fucking forever. But I'm not going to. I'm putting Graveyard Shift through.
Oh, God! Fuck.
And I hate it because I want Metronome too. And there's no more People's Choice. This is not, it's gone. And that makes me so sad because Metronome is gorgeous. But
I think I just threw up in my mouth.
I have to do Graveyard Shift. Oh, a bunch of people just got real pissed. But a bunch of people got happy because they were real bummed that we voted out Graveyard Shift. Let's not forget
probably the
Graveyard
majority
Shift.
of the people are probably like, I don't know what I would have done either.
I know. I mean, let's remember Graveyard Shift was a People's Choice, so there's a bunch of people who are going to be happy it came through. They loved it enough to vote for it. And also, I feel like there's been a real, even for myself, a real bias on early era stuff. And I think Graveyard Shift is such a great period, late period masterpiece that I can't not let it through. It has to represent. There has to be those. They have to represent. And while Metronome's really hard to sacrifice on that altar, that kind of tips the scales for me. So anyway, fuck, that was hard. I'm not happy about it. I'm not joyous about this. It's not a joyful reunion. No.
You guys done fooled me.
So the Tower is, of course, glowing red, its eye casting its glow upon all of us. Well, I Can't Stop Talking, as we heard, finally did fucking shut up. Metronome, unfortunately, someone reached out and just grabbed that little gnome on and stopped it dead in its tracks, which hurts my heart.
Gnomes have rights.
And Graveyard Shift is still wandering the halls with its light. It made it through, and boy, there we go. Any final words before we kick this one out?
Exhausted.
That was a long. It's not a particularly long one.
Not
hard
the
one.
time, just the subject matter. You know?
These were big ones, man. It was
heavy.
nice. I have to say, it was nice to have this fucking full course meal here. I was getting a little. It's not that all the songs we haven't talked about are good, but they weren't quite as meaty. This
What
was
are you
fucking
talking
meaty
about?
shit.
There's some doozies in there.
There were, but this one's a meaty ass episode. This was a 3-course meal.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening once again. And I specifically am talking to you listening to this right now. As you know, No Means No Thing is produced and edited by yours truly, Jordan Flato. Co-hosting and podcast graphics are by the absolutely incredible Matthew Kowalik.
Yes.
Michelle Strangest is our third and everyone's favorite co-host and official Foley
saying
artist.
Stop
Shout
saying
out
that.
to our official mascot, Teddy.
Teddy.
Thank you to No
Goodness
Means
gracious.
No for the use of stock taking as our intro and outro music. The end is nothing, and you begin with nothing much.
You sick and tired of the same old thing? Or you happy enough? Tell me, when there's so much becomes so little, when does too little become too much? When does so much become so little? When does too little become too much?
All right, let's see what dumb bullshit this horrible machine has for us this time. Oh, nice.
I don't have paper. This is terrible. I'm
I'll
not at my
email it
house
to you,
and
but I'll
I
put it
have-
in the
Yeah,
chat.
you're gonna. Yeah. Will you please? Because
But here's the first one in the
I
chat.
have no paper.
I like this. This will be fun as shit.
Oh, that's juicy.
This is a good
Holy
one too. Here's another juicy one.
Fuck.
Fuck, that's fun.
Oh, those are gonna be good ones.
That's a good one. I'm pretty happy about these. That'll be fun to talk about. And we are going to have a guest next week, everybody. So that'll be fun. We'll get to hear their thoughts on these as well, which will be really fun. So stay tuned. Glad you stuck with us. If you did, I don't know how many people listen to this shit, but also just a little reminder, fuck off.
Fuck off. Fuck off. You sound like a crow. Fuck off.